the people that are joining early, just trying to figure out the video and audio situation, so please just let me know. Looks fine to me on this end. Let me know if you can choose 1440p as an option, because I am streaming in 1440p. Hey, Lightning Monkey, thank you for joining. If you wouldn't mind, just let me know how it looks, sounds. Click around in here. Okay, I'll just load up on foot. Where do I want to go? Been a very long time since I've streamed. A little on the quiet side for the mic. Okay. Game sounds good? Alright. I'll adjust the mic in a second. Because the game's gonna get louder. So I should turn the mic off. I already maxed out in OBS. Just max. Alright, let me know if that made any positive change. Or if it got worse. Still quieter than the game? Okay. Actually, I should probably just bring up the software. Because I'm running this through Adobe Audition. I mean, it is... The output is pretty loud. I might just have to turn down the game. Alright, I set the game volume at 50%. We'll play around with it. But I appreciate your feedback. It's been a very long time since I've live streamed. Quiet. Alright, what about now? That's definitely louder. Let me see if it's getting drowned out in OBS at all. No, OBS looks really good. Much better? Oh, okay. And it sounds clear? It's not, like, cutting out or anything? Okay. Sweet. Hey, Player One. I appreciate your feedback, guys. Awesome. Alright, so now that we got the audio figured out, at least for the microphone, how does everything look? I'm playing in 4K, but I'm streaming to you guys in 1440p. Does everything look smooth? Because I'm rocking a constant 60 FPS here, so that's what you guys should be getting. .40p, 60, awesome. Hey, what's going on, Punk? Thanks for joining, man. Cool. Yeah, so you guys can watch in 1440p. I don't know why more people don't do that. A lot of people just live stream in 1080p. I don't know, I just think 1440p is so much better. Especially if there's not, like, a significant increase in the stream delay. Awesome. So you guys just play on PC, or do you play on console as well? console got it, what, 6 hours ago? No. 8 hours ago? I don't... My math isn't... Yeah, 8 hours ago? I know they got it super early at like 5 a.m. Yeah, PC is just so much better. Especially with mods and stuff. Mods are going to be pretty big for this. Because of all the stuff that had to get removed. I'm just kind of relieved that this project is finally out. There's still a couple issues with the signaling. I'm going to be releasing a patch that fixes the remainder of the stuff that I know about. Yeah, shouldn't take too long. Yeah, the rail fanning piece is something that a lot of people are going to enjoy. Woodside is a nice spot to rail fan. A lot of action. Do you guys have any questions about the route while we just wait for people to filter in? Yeah, so you mentioned announcements and stuff. I was actually playing around in the editor using M9 announcements, or the M7 announcements. Now they're the M7 announcements. And it was pretty cool, adding all the little sound cues at the right spots. And yeah, nothing really came of it. I was just playing around in the editor, but it looked and sounded really authentic. That'd be pretty cool to get into the game someday. Hey, Pixelate, what's going on, man? Thank you. Yeah, I spent a very, very long time getting these signals correct. Like I said on the live stream with Dovetail, each of these signaling points was like programmed by hand. So what I mean by that is like this one will look at the next signaling point, whether it's a track circuit or the next wayside, and be like, oh, is the next signal stop and proceed? Do this. And set cab signals to be whatever before the signal. Like, each one of those little clauses is represented, and it can get very, very complicated in dense areas like Herald interlocking, where you could have one signal with 30, 40 different possibilities based on whether you're switching tracks or not. It's just crazy. So it took a very long time. So it's all custom programmed. Yeah, the signal ID randomization is kind of a bummer, but hopefully somebody can make a mod that reverts them back. Yeah, there's quite a few M7s, so like right here. Only like a handful of M3s. It's mostly M9s and M7s that you're gonna see. But yeah, the signaling was super broken beforehand, so that definitely needed to be redeemed for this route. And I did the Train Sim Classic signaling for this, so it just made sense that I do this one as well. And I was able to get a lot more realism out of this one. Alright. Now that we've got a lot of people in, let's try to figure out a service to run. Hey Dave, yeah, you can create a route. You just have to use the public editor, which honestly right now is kind of buggy. But they will be patching it. I just don't know when. You guys probably want to see the M9. I didn't plan on like any specific services, but I want to do something from Hempstead to start. They have little yard moves within Hempstead Yard that you can do to like get out of the yard, pull out onto the main, and then reverse back into the station. So that's a little option as well, which is kind of cool that Joe threw those in there. Yeah, the M3 works with the signals, Jay Smith. That was one thing that we had to change. We had to make sure that it was updated to work with the new signals, otherwise the M3 was completely useless. So let's pick a good service. Maybe a little bit after the morning rush. I want to go to. Do I want to go to Penn or Atlantic? Nah, I don't want to go to Atlantic Terminal, do I? Do they all go to Atlantic Terminal? No. How about this one? 763, Hempstead to New York Penn. Do dynamic weather, light clouds. That sounds good to me. I haven't played this service yet. Yeah, man, it has been a while. Nice to see you around, Dave. Yeah, I don't know if the M3 was updated to use PTC. Yeah, don't quote me on that. But definitely the cab signals. Alright, sweet. Let's get this bad boy set up. Yeah, so I'm just starting out with some random service from Hempstead to Penn Station. Marker lights off. Cool. Yeah, all the signaling here was fixed. I think in the original route they had like pedestal signals like all along here protecting these junctions or whatever. I ripped all that crap out because it's all manual junctions. You don't need signals to protect any of that. You just have this signal right at the end of the yard, which is your distance signal for garden, which will display approach medium as its most favorable aspect. Like I said, everything was scripted by hand. Might be able to show you a little bit of that later. I sent in some photos to Alex over at Dovetail because he wanted to know like all the little details about what I had done with the signaling on the route. So I sent him some pictures of some stuff in the editor too, which was really cool. But he never got across to showing it off. Hey, what's going on, Max? Nice to see you, man. So, feel free to spout off any questions that you guys have in the chat. I'll answer anything that I can answer. I'm mostly going to do this run without the HUD. As you can see, I already have most of the information turned off. How many cars do I have? This is an 8-car consist. Alright, we got the 2 to go. And we're off. The speed limit within Hempstead Yard is 10 miles an hour. Let's throw it into coast. I didn't want to get the rail driver out because I gotta mess with the controls in that thing. Like you put it into these positions and it just doesn't feel right. What I think is idle would actually be like min power, and it just messes everything up. Yep. Did you guys get the download option on Steam now for this? Those of you who have been waiting. You should have. It should have been right at 1 p.m. Alright, so we passed the approach medium, cabs upgraded to 30. This is all prototypical. You can't exceed 30. I mean, sorry, you can't exceed 10 until the whole train's cleared the yard, which is pretty much when the front of the train reaches the curve. Hey Lander, thank you for the kind words. Nice to see you too, man. Alright, so the whole train should be clear of the yard. It's not, so what? Pick up speed a little bit before we make our stop at Country Life Press. I believe I'm scheduled to stop. Yeah, I think every train stops there. Yeah. Beautiful day. Sweet, nice to see you guys are getting the update. Alright, so coming into Country Life Press. Some foliage on the platform, sticking through. Throw the brakes into Min. I don't have all the locations for like this car stop memorized. You got the 4 to 6, and then 8 to 10's at the fence. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit of time for you guys to figure out the brakes and everything. It's taken me a while too. You will overshoot. Throw it into max brake when you're at a stop, just so the safety systems aren't yelling at you. It's just best practice anyway. Yeah, Todd 4 looks really nice. What time of day is this? Late afternoon. So, what time does the sun set around here in April? Like 7:30? So the sun's starting to do its thing, so you can kind of see that reflected. Next stop will be Garden City. Okay. So what engineers will do, something that you guys can replicate as well, is when the doors start to close, throw the master controller into min brake, and then once you get the 2 to go, it's just a matter of throwing it into coast and then your throttle position. It just takes less time for the brakes to release. It's got a 15 curve right here. There's a cab drop right there that will always enforce 15 on this curve right before Garden. Dave, I don't know anything about the F-125 and its max design speed. Sorry, man. I can't speak to that. Got a crossing coming up here at Garden, interlocking. Let's just sound the horn for. A medium clear at Garden. How's the audio with the horn and everything? Is it audible enough? How does it compare to my mic volume? Any input I'll take, just because I haven't streamed in a while. Hey Morgan, thanks for joining. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Alright, we'll pick up speed a little bit before coming into Garden City. Got our pickup to 70 code. Get up to about 30, and then we'll start our break for Garden City. Here's our 8 car marker there. I'm going to overshoot just a little bit. Not bad. Graduate off the brakes. The doors, throw it into max brake. Yeah, it's going to take you guys some time to get comfortable with the brakes. Like I said, I'm not even used to it yet, and I've been practicing a little bit in my spare time. Yeah, the horn, well, this is the brand new M9. I think we got new horn recordings for that. So some of the sounds were reused from the M7, but not all of them. Next stop should be, oh my god, what is the next stop? Nassau Boulevard, that's right. Yeah, I have to practice more on the Hempstead branch, and I like it too. It's kind of peaceful, quiet, way more suburban and rural than the rest of the route, which is kind of nice. It's just quaint, you know. I like it. So we'll get up to speed for this stop. I don't remember what I used as a landmark for braking coming into Nassau. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Alright, so the whistle sign. I started braking there, so let's see how that works out. Hitting the platform at 40. I'm actually happy with that. Now let's just zoom in and see where this car marker is. It's at the very end of the platform, so I'm gonna graduate off a little bit, go into min brake. That was actually good. I'll have to just remember to get up to about 70 and brake at the whistle sign. Beautiful. Thrown into max brake again. It's a good habit to get into. Oh, that's a beautiful stop. Hell yeah. Favorite section on the LIRR? I'm an Amtrak guy at heart, so I gotta say between Penn Station and Woodside. But like I was just mentioning, I really appreciate the suburban quaintness, for lack of a better term. Alright, we got the 2 to go. Next up, Stewart Manor. I appreciate the quietness of this area. So the Hempstead branch is just nice. My least favorite branch in this release, I would say Atlantic. You're in a tunnel underneath Atlantic Avenue for most of it. East New York Station's kind of unique, kind of nice looking. I like the architecture at East New York. Then you just have the viaduct thing to Nostrand Avenue, and just kind of boring. And then don't get me started on the 5 mile an hour. AJ, sorry, I might have missed your question. Is there any plan to have New York City to Boston section of the NEC one of these days? I have no idea, dude. That would be a massive undertaking. Alright, start braking for our stop at, Nassau. No, sorry, we did Nassau. We're at Stewart Manor. I don't even have these station names memorized. I should by now, right? been spending way too much time in the editor compared to in the game. We're doing really good on time, though. Lightning Monkey asks, have I heard of the current extension to the Train Sim Classic route? Yeah, so somebody has been in contact with me before this route got announced about extending to Long Beach. So he was asking me some signal questions about Long Beach, which was pretty interesting because I had to be a little bit evasive and not acted like I knew everything about the signaling there, which was kind of funny. Are you referring to a different extension? So maybe like Port Wash, Port Jeff, Ronkonkoma? Yeah, CT Rail. It's just gonna take me a while to memorize the stations. I'm almost there with it. It's taken me a while, but I got the speed limits down, and the code drops down, which I'll share with you guys. There's a forced 40 code drop at this crossing. There you go. So you'll always get a 40 drop there. Oh, so the extension for Train Sim Classic goes out to Huntington and Far Rock. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if it was that same guy that I was in contact with about extending to Long Beach? Or is it a different group? I don't know. You let me know. So I'm going to start braking for this 30 curve. There's a 30-mile-an-hour restriction for whatever reason on this track coming into Floral Park. Alright. Floral Park. Let's see how I'm doing on time. Pretty much like right on target, which is good. I'm coming in a little bit too conservative. Now that I'm getting more comfortable with the braking, maybe I'll pick up the pace a little bit. I say that and then I overshoot the car. That's okay. Max brake. Let's take a look around. So we've got a clear signal here, which is the most favorable aspect you can have. 70 code all the way to Queens, assuming you still have a clear signal at Queens. Well, this is still technically Queens. So we are stopping at Belrose, okay. Yeah, so Queens is actually split up into 4 different interlockings, I think. This is Queens 4, I believe, right here. This little bit. And then all those signal bridges up ahead are the other different Queens sections. You got Queens 3, Queens 2, Queens 1. But all together, it's considered Queens. Very busy interlocking. It's the only interlocking where you'll be switching at 80 miles an hour, which is kind of a farce because when you go over those switches at 80 miles an hour, you're going to regret that you did. Those switches, I think, were only designed for 60, yet they'll allow you to go 80 through them. It's ridiculous. So if I were you, I wouldn't go more than like 65 through the switches, but the problem is there's no advance notice that you're going to be switching tracks. You kind of just have to know. Which is really a shame. Jeez. The brakes are just so touchy. It's fine. Alright, so this is Queens Bridge 4. I don't know why the other side didn't render. It's not supposed to be like a... like, you know what I mean? It's supposed to go down, too. Alright, so we are stopping at Queens Village. So it means we're going to be switching over to Trek 3, which is a very common move if coming off the Hempstead. So you'll have an approach medium 70 here, and then another approach medium, which is 40, and then you'll actually get your medium clear, and the medium clear will drop you to 30 upon passing. So what I'm going to do is not exceed 40, because I know I'm going to get a 40 drop here. So here's our other approach medium at Queens Bridge 3. I hit 40. There's our 40 drop. And then you got Queens Bridge 2. We have a medium clear, so I'm gonna brake to 30. Because I know I'm already gonna get hit with that. Boom. Long Island Railroad is kind of interesting with how they do signal enforcement. So if that was an Amtrak move, you'd have approach medium far out, and you'd be expected to be going no more than 30 miles an hour when you hit the medium clear signal. With Long Island, I could have hit that signal at 40, the medium clear, and then let automatic speed control slow me down. The reason they allow you to hit the medium clear signal at 40 is because there's so much space between the signal and the actual switch point. So the signal designers felt that it was safe to do that. There's some areas where the signal is so close to the switch point that they'll enforce a 30 mile an hour code drop before the switch. Before the signal. Before the medium clear signal. So it all depends on the area. We're actually doing really good on time. What's our next stop? We are going to stop at Hollis, okay. And then we're doing an employee stop at Hillside. Alright, got the 2 to go. So Dave Holland is asking, is it possible to bring the ACS 64 and ampletes to a created route? Well, yeah, I mean, if you have the public editor and you have that DLC installed, you'll be able to use it in your route. Alright, so we'll get up to speed a little bit before we start braking for Hollis. Hollis is kind of a interesting stop because it's just like smack dab in the middle of nowhere, kinda. So it's kind of difficult to judge when to properly brake for a stop at Hollis. I think at this signal bridge is where I'm going to start braking. And it's a short platform, too. So we'll see how I do on this one. Hit about 70 miles an hour. The thing that I'm having trouble with memorizing is exactly like where these stations are. So, probably can see it now. Yeah, I can see it. So it's just after this second signal bridge, or the interlocking. Probably not going to be wanting to go much more over 30 when I hit the platform, just because of how short it is. Oh yeah, alright. I'm gonna overshoot a little bit, but not bad. Maybe like half a car. Alright. I'll have to work on that. Cool. And then we're doing an employee stop at Hillside. I don't know what it is about the dynamic weather. I've been getting a lot of fog recently, and then I'll hit a point and literally all the fog just instantly clears, and it's like there's no clouds in the sky or anything. It's really, really weird. I don't know if it's a bug with time of day version 4 or if it's something weird with my install, but I even noticed it when playing in the editor too. To Hillside, employee stop only. There's the car marker a little bit further down. Oops, I did not mean to throw it into max brake. Meant to hit the other key. Nice. Okay. So we got Jamaica, Woodside, Penn. Okay, I'll remember that. Jamaica, Woodside, Penn. Cool. So I already can tell that we have pretty good signal conditions coming up to this point, because if you still have an 80 code at this point, you're pretty much good. There's a forced 70 code drop right here. It's kind of a shame that that part of the scenery didn't make it in the track circuits. Impedance spawns. I was going to add them, and then they're like, no, we're having some performance issues on the route right now as it is. Let's just hold off until we can get that worked out, and it just never ended up coming back up. Yeah, Morgan. So you've had the fog randomly disappear too. So there's a train going on the Montauk. I'm not gonna accelerate above 40 because there's another forced drop coming up right over here. Down to a 40 code, regardless of like what's going on up ahead. You'll always get a drop to at least 40 here. Got another train there. That looks like it's on main line 2. Snow is saying that his game always crashes when he approaches Jamaica on timetable mode. Was that with the old route or with the new route? Alright, we have an approach slow at Hall. This is the beginning of MTEA limits, so it's like terminal limits, and the operating rules state that the speed limit within MTEA limits is 20. So that's why I set the speed limit to 20 there. And we have a slow approach at Hall. This whole interlocking complex here is called Hall. So there's multiple sections to it. It started like, oops, 1 second. Let me acknowledge that. It started all the way back here, Hall, and extends all the way to the east end of Jamaica. Andre is saying, do you use train sim rig / controller? I don't have my rail driver hooked up right now, just because the controls are a little bit loose and wonky. So I'm just using the keyboard mouse. We have another slow approach. That beep right there and the track speed going to dash dash is access cutting out. So in these terminal areas, these are considered my voice cracked. Access exempt areas. So you don't have positive train control within the terminal areas. This also applies to Atlantic Terminal, Penn Station, Long Beach, coming into Long Beach. Yeah. So anytime you see the dash dash, that means that the track speed couldn't be determined because there's no transponder data from access. And then the yellow light indicates that access is in a degraded state. It's still turned on, but it doesn't have any data from which to enforce anything. And that also includes stop signals. Like you could blow a stop signal here at Jamaica because it's access exempt. Alright, let's come to a stop at Jamaica. Okay, threw that into max brake. We are like right on time. This is awesome. Let's see what else we have around here. This train is kind of sticking its ass out. Is he following something? Ooh, that's a creepy noise. Oh no, he was actually just a really long train stopped at that signal. That 12 car? Jeez. Normally they don't want trains like sticking out into a junction like that, but I guess sometimes it's unavoidable. Got a train on 8, on 7, 6. I'm on 2. Got a train here in D yard. Okay, so we're good to proceed to Woodside. Got our 2 to go. And we have a slow clear. Looks like we got slow clear, then another slow clear. It's good. It's not good for showing off the capabilities of the signaling system, but it's good for on-time performance. So after I conclude this run, is there anything in particular that you guys want to see? I'm kind of not wanting to do stuff that, one, we did in the preview stream, or two, that other streamers have done yesterday as part of their, like, ambassador previews. I know that there was one service that Max messaged me earlier that I might give a try. So if you were paying attention there just now, you would have noticed that we passed the clear signal on the pedestal, and it upgraded our cabs to 30. If you've ever read Long Island signal rules, you'll know that passing a clear signal can't give you 30 in the cab. This is just one example of the signaling department bending their own rules. You'll also see this at Long Beach. When you're leaving, you'll have a clear signal going west over the bridge, and it'll keep your cab signals at 15. So the signaling department at the end of the day just does whatever the hell they want. Not every rule is set in stone. Alright, let's get up to speed, at least to 40, until we clear the curve. Another clear at J. This is part of J interlocking. This whole interlocking complex down here from Jamaica out to up here is called J. Alright, let's accelerate up to 80. Another clear. So this is an interesting part of the line because you have alternating, like, signal track circuit, signal track circuit, whereas on a lot of the other branches, like out to Long Beach or whatever, it's just track circuits, so you won't even see a lot of wayside signals like this. I think the wayside signaling is cool, so I like this area. Passing by Kew Gardens. See? The fog just all disappeared right now, just randomly. I think it's bizarre. I don't know why it's happening. Right, got another clear signal as we approach Forest Hills. Another clear at the block signal. So in the track here, there's not just, like, track circuit equipment, there's also other types of track circuits in between those. I'll go into more detail about that later. This place is littered with track circuits, and based on the signal conditions ahead, they'll do different things. And all of that behavior is replicated accurately in game, even if it's not outwardly obvious to you guys. So that was another one of the licensing things with the MTA. Well, it's actually the Long Island Railroad, not the MTA. They wanted all of the track circuit locations hidden on the map. So that's why you guys only see wayside signals on the map. Alright, I'm gonna start braking because the clear signal here at the curve, the best it can do is a 70 in the cab. It'll always force you down to 70. I'm just braking in advance of that drop. And then what I normally do right around the bridge here for the freight line is then I'll throw it into min brake again to meet the 60-mile-an-hour requirement for the curve. Because you're going uphill quite a bit, so that helps you brake in time. You guys still with me in chat? I haven't seen chat pop off in a little bit. A clear signal it would. Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys are there. So this is where the Port Washington branch joins up. I'm gonna start braking for my stop at Woodside. Hey GQ, how you doing, man? I'm doing very well. Just happy that this route is finally released, you know. Where is the 8-car marker on this platform? Did I totally just miss it? Shit, I didn't mean to go into emergency. It's fine. I'll just reset it. That was funny. Did I miss? I got 2 minutes to spare, so let me see. Did I miss the 8-car sign? Or is there just not one? There's no way it would be all the way back here. It's not in the middle there, no. Shit, did they miss? Did they not place it? Because I see they have it over here. Actually, if you look. Pretty good. Got an M3 coming in. Looks like he's stopping. What do we got going on here? Pretty boring stuff. Stop and proceed, stop and proceed. Have a clear. Stop and proceed. I wonder what they're gonna do with us. What truck are we set to come into at Penn? 14. So that means that we have to be going in on line 2. Which means they probably won't switch us at Herald. Let me take a look. Nope, we're just cruising straight through and going down line 2. Awesome. It's route knowledge, baby. Yeah, it ended up being a perfect stop. I feel like there should be a car stop sign here, though. I've just never noticed it before. Alright. Let's get ready to go. What did you just try out, Monkey? The route? Everybody getting it downloaded and enjoying it? Hopefully watching me isn't preventing you guys from playing it. I had somebody earlier telling me that, oh, I'm just gonna watch it while playing. I'm like, oh, cool. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So because I'm not going to be switching tracks at Herald or F, I'm not going to worry about anything. This is great. Yeah, there's a couple issues with the signaling. I'll point out one of them as we get closer to Penn Station. I don't know what happened. Everything was fine in February, and then we did some more testing, and some things just weren't acting the same. So I was wondering if there was like some kind of core change that got pushed, and we couldn't figure anything out on that front. So I fixed it on my end, pushed the fix, and then everybody's like, the signals are acting weird. Like they were doing really, really bizarre shit. And it turns out, and I explained this on the live stream with Matt and JD, it turns out that I had corrupt files on my computer somehow. I don't know how my files got corrupted, but later that night I resynced with the Dovetail server, got all the clean files, and then made my changes and everything was fine. So I'll go over the list of fixes. As we creep into Penn Station, I'll read off some of the fixes that will be coming in a patch soon. Maybe in like two weeks, if I were to guess. They're minor things that most people like wouldn't even notice unless they got pointed out to them. Alright, so we had all clear signals at Herald. We had a clear at F back there. We have another clear at F. This is F interlocking right here. Literally just the letter F. Alright, throw it into min brake, and I'll set the lights to dim. It's typically what they do when they go into the tunnel. It's just too damn bright otherwise. So I also replaced all of the tunnel signals. So all of these are in their real-life locations. A couple of them appear to be floating, though. I'm not sure how that happened. Missing the mount or something. But yeah, when Dovetail originally did this route, which was Northeast Corridor, New York, that disaster of a route, everything in the tunnels was all orged. Like, the signal locations were fictional. The tunnels still to this day aren't aligned properly. The tunnels have always been kind of a mess, so is Penn Station. Alright, so we're about midway under the East River. Probably shortly see what I mean by signaling issue. So it starts here with an advanced approach. So advanced approach means that 2 signals up is a stop signal. The problem is, in this case, there is no stop signal. We have a slow clear coming into Penn Station, but the previous signal's restricting, and the signal I'm about to pass is approach. I don't want to get into the weeds as to why this happened. It was kind of like the signals suddenly didn't have all the information they needed to make their decisions. So they defaulted to this behavior. Now, I've fixed that and given them the information that they need, so now they're displaying things properly on my end. That'll come later on in a patch. But that's it. That's all I was talking about in the preview stream when it came to a weird progression that you'll encounter at Penn Station. This is all I was referring to. Typically, that advance approach would still be a clear. Then you'd come around the bend, and that approach signal would be approach limited, which is yellow over flashing green. And then this signal here would be approach slow, which is just yellow over yellow. And at this point, you'd still be allowed to go 30. And then you'd hit the slow clear coming into Penn Station. Appreciate that, Max. Yeah, Jordan, that's why I like to... They call it dodging codes. So if you know that you're going to get a code drop, like let's say from a 70 to a 40, in the search of passenger comfort, you know, like you want to make the passengers comfortable. So if you can avoid having automatic speed control automatically brake the train for you because it's extremely harsh, do so, you know, especially if you know that there's going to be a cab drop. Now there's times where you're following a train and you catch up a little bit too quickly and you'll get a cab drop from 80 to 70 or whatever, and it's unavoidable. But at that point, though, you'd know that, hey, something's going on. Back off a bit. Don't just keep going balls to the wall with the master controller, because you're just going to keep hitting those drops. And in real life, if you did that, your conductor would be calling you on the radio being like, hey, man, what the fuck? What gives? What's going on? So try to think of the passengers is all I'm saying. Even though they're fictional passengers. But if you want to test the limits of everything, by all means, go balls to the wall. This is a simulator after all, and you have the freedom to do what you want. Alright, coming into Penn Station, we have a slow clear, yeah, everything's good. All the way up to the end of the platform. Once I pull into Penn, I'm just gonna use the restroom really quick, and then I can go over with you guys what I meant by that area between Woodside and Kew Gardens being like packed with track circuits. I'll show you a pretty cool example. I'm not sure that organically in the timetable the situation exactly would pop up, but it is something that's totally supported by the signaling system in the event that the trains were in those positions at that time. So I'll explain everything. It's actually pretty freaking cool. And then we can play another service. So if you guys have requests for services, or if you don't know like an exact service name you want me to try, if you just be like, oh, do something from here to here, I'll try to find something. And if you got any questions along the way, feel free to ask, whether it's a development question. Just please don't ask me anything that would violate my non-disclosure agreement with Dovetail, like, what's the next American DLC, or like anything like that. Just use common sense. Cool. Alright, I'm just gonna use the restroom really quick, I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. How is everything so far? Is everybody happy? Cool. All right, let me go to let me just go back to the main menu. And I'll spawn at, I don't know, Forest Hills. Then I'll pull up that video. Alright, so let me mute this. Let me pull up my web browser to get to that video I wanted to show you guys. So what's cool about Long Island Railroad, oops. So you can hear that. Let me lower the volume on that. And then let me create a little view for that. Window capture, is that what I want? Window capture. Just fixing the transform stretch to screen. There we go. Can you guys see that, this video that I got pulled up on YouTube? Let me get back to Woodside. Just let me know when you guys can see this. And yeah, you see the video? Okay. So, get back to Wood. All right, so you got to clear at Wood. And you can see that there's a train on mainline 4 that you're kind of racing. Let me turn up the sound a little bit. Because the sound does matter. You'll hear audible cues when the cab signals change. That ringing, this is an M3 by the way, so the alerter and everything is that like bell chime. That was the alerter that went off. Let me speed up just a little bit. Another clear signal there. Okay. So some things are gonna start happening. I'll explain what's going on. So you see that equipment box over there on the right-hand side with the graffiti on it? That's a special type of track circuit that's very common on the Long Island Railroad. It's called an AFO. It stands for Audio Frequency Overlay. So you have your normal track circuits, which are at your signaling points. These guys right here, the impedance bonds. And then between sets of those, you have AFOs sometimes. So it's kind of like a signal block being divided into multiple sub blocks. And the LIRR uses these regularly to drop the cab signals down in between signal blocks. So the way it works is you've got a transmitter. Like this will have a transmitter transmitting an audio frequency at a specific frequency, like let's say 22 megahertz or whatever. I don't know what the hell they use. And that frequency gets transmitted up and down the rails. Well, at other signaling points, like probably that bridge down there, there's a receiver that's tuned to listen for frequencies from the transmitter. when there's a train nearby, the train's wheels shunt the tracks and then prevent that signal from reaching the receiver. So when that happens, the signaling system knows that there's a train around this AFO and then can react accordingly. So we'll watch this play out and I'll explain what's going on. And all of this is possible in game, like all of it. You got a clear signal here. He still has 80 in the cab right now on his ADU. Hear that? Did you hear that alarm go off? The bell ringing? Listen. So that was one of those audio frequency overlay track circuits triggering a cab signal downgrade because in this case there's an approach signal ahead. So he's got 80 in the cab right now. He hits this AFO, drops to a 70 in the cab. So he gets slowed down to 70. And then he hits an approach signal up here, which would then drop you down to 40. But this whole time, see, he just got the drop to 40. Whatever's in front of him, he's following a train. Whatever's in front of him is gaining more ground, so the train in front will clear another block and maybe he'll get upgraded back to 70 code. So this whole process of getting bumped up to 80 again, hitting an AFO and getting dropped down to 70, and then passing an approach signal, getting dropped to 40, all of that keeps playing out throughout this whole thing. I'll show you one last time. So coming up to another AFO right here. Boom, drop down to a 70 code. And then got the approach signal right here at Forest Hills. He knows he's going to get dropped to a 40 code, so he's braking in advance of that. Boom, there's the drop to 40 code. You guys have any questions on that? All of that stuff is in-game. All of it. So whenever you see one of those signal boxes at the wayside, this probably isn't a good spot to see one, but you saw in the video, whenever you see one of those signal boxes, just think audio frequency overlay. It's just an additional track circuit. Alright, Maverick is asking... One sec, his question just disappeared. Maverick's asking, so the safety systems on this route, are they the same for Boston to Providence, ATC, and Access? Yes, they are the same. Nearly identical, actually, to how it works on Amtrak. Alright, yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you guys as far as the other types of track circuits that exist on this route, and how, like, you might be wondering, why am I getting dropped to a 70 here? Why am I getting dropped to a 30 here? Well, now you might know why. Alright, you guys are interested in something to or from Long Island City. Let's look around. Do you guys know of any services? I'm looking at you, Max. Would it be listed here as going from or to Long Island City? Because I'm not seeing anything. Oh, here we go. I guess there's only M9 stuff. All right, train 4800, Long Island City to Jamaica. Operate from Long Island City to Jamaica. Please set the switches accordingly. Okay. And then you take it into D Yard. Okay. I like that. Let's give that a try. I haven't actually played that one yet. Hey, Neil. How's it going, buddy? Nice streams yesterday. Cool. Alright, let's get this started up. I'm wondering if it's gonna have us... we're just taking it like straight out of the yard and going to Hunters Point Avenue? Okay. So I guess I'll just set the switch points. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Also good. Also good. Good. And it all depends on what track they're throwing me on at HPA. Track 1? Which one is track 1? One is the right track. So I'm going to need to set this switch. Come on. Won't let me do it in the 8 cam? Alright, I'll just do it in here. Just get going. Let's get up to speed, coast, and then let's check out that switch. There we go. Should be good now. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Sweet. Oh, this is another station that will have no access. I think access is completely cut out until you hit F interlocking. Well, it's technically controlled from Herald. These signals. I love the sounds, how you get cut off from third rail power, the systems in your car kind of turn off, and then they kickstart back on once you've returned to third rail power. Like the HVAC you can hear. So we're literally... Oh, we're not even, like, stopping at the Jamaica platforms. We're going to a siding. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't tested any Long Island City services, like, at all throughout development. We had so much trouble getting the timetable to simulate properly. I think if you guys asked Joe how this timetable was to make, like, this timetable was so difficult, I thought it was gonna, like, break him as a person. And it wasn't, like, the timetable, really, it was, the dispatcher that was causing problems, and still is causing problems. Like, you'll probably see, actually, you will see, pile-ups of trains coming into Penn Station. It's a dispatcher problem that, as of this point, wasn't able to be overcome. Yeah, the dispatcher has a lot of issues with this route. And I had to do some hacky signal stuff in order to get the timetable to do what we wanted, specifically around Penn Station and Atlantic Terminal to a lesser extent. I just realized, is this a deadhead move? We're not stopping at any kind of platform. So we'll just pass HPA, then we'll speed up, and we'll see what the signals do with us, because I've never gone to this Jamaica West layup siding. Where the hell is that? Oh, okay. We're pulling up. Oh, we're pulling up into there and then reversing back out into D yard. Okay, interesting. This will be, I think, my first time testing how my signals behave here. So approach medium. I mean, that's what you're expecting to get. Just see when I can speed up. I think it's 10 miles an hour all the way until the end of the signal, and then it picks up to 30. I see the next aspect. Hey, welcome back, Monkey. Yeah, so you have approach medium, and I can't tell yet what we've got. So we should get bumped up to a 30 cab code. Yep, we did. Let me open the window. Ooh, I see a clear signal. I did see a clear signal down there on line 3. We're probably going to see something. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, so we have a medium clear signal next, which makes sense. Looks like I'm good to get up to 30 now. Yeah, they wanted to see some Long Island City stuff, and I hadn't actually tested it, Monkey, so it's nice to see that it's working. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't work. I told all these signals what to do. Medium clear. Max says you can delete the AI train that's stuck if you want to complete your service. Is this gonna have a stuck service? I don't know. Nathan says, can the alerter be disabled to avoid emergency stops? No, the safety systems cannot be disabled. That was one of the terms and conditions for licensing from the Long Island Railroad. Got a clear signal at Herald. And then I can see up ahead we have an approach medium again. So access still holds us to 30 miles an hour on this track up until we get up to the signal at Herald. Our cabs are going to drop down to 40 again. Cool. So now I can accelerate up to 40. I'm expecting to be switching tracks if I have an approach medium. So we'll see what this next signal up at Herald has in store for me. Yeah, I do see a medium clear. You guys have a lot of signals to learn. These are pedestal signals, the little domino-looking ones. Looks like we're switching over to mainline 2. I got a clear signal here. Cabs should jump up to 70, I believe. Yep, clear 70. So Monkey's asking any background on why the MTA didn't let you guys have access to the M9? I don't know. I wasn't part of the team or whatever that reached out and asked, you know? I was just brought on to make the signaling. But I'm guessing from the way they've treated everything else, it was security concerns, you know? They have their reasons. I mean, they're well within their rights to deny us access to the trains. But the, all I can say is that the beta team is very, very resourceful. We have access to a lot of various resources and information. So we were able to get things done. Alright, gotta clear at the pedestal. Passing by Woodside now. There's a Port Wash train. Gotta clear at Wood. This is this little interlocking here between tracks 4 and 2 is called Wood. Got the same thing over there for the Port Washington tracks. This area doesn't look terrible. So your cab signal will be 70 all the way through here until you hit this set of block signals, and then it will upgrade to 80 if you're not following anything. So don't think, oh, I have a 70, I must be following something. No, it's just permanent speed restriction for the area. You can see it just bounce back up to 80. Hey, what's going on, Nick? How you been, man? Nice of you to join us. Alright, we gotta clear at the block signal. I'm feeling that's gonna be a trend. But we are a deadhead move, so I would expect that we get stuck behind some revenue service, but maybe not. I mean, it is, I don't know, 9 in the morning, that's considered off-peak. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Been busy getting ready for this release, and just got new siding put on my house, so that was a big expense. It looks so much better now, though. Getting the virtual railfan camera set back up, mounted on the house. I have to actually, probably after the stream, get on the ladder and adjust the focus and angle on that. Oh, you did see the house. Oh yeah, because you've been passing by on the trains. I just had Nacella and now a regional is passing by right now. Alright, Get another clear on the block signal. Passing Forest Hills right now. Let's see if there's anything ahead. We do have this revenue train, but we're on completely separate tracks. I don't think we're going to be interfering at all. It's possible that they might hold us. We'll see. Alright, so this signal coming up right before Kew Gardens has a most favorable cap signal code of 70. So you could get clear 70 or approach medium 70 out of it. So I'm slowing down to 70 in advance. It looks like I got a clear. So yeah, my path all the way into Jamaica is clear. I'm gonna keep it in min brake, though, because you gotta be going 40 when you hit the signal bridge at J. Well, you don't have to be, but it's best practice to be. And approach medium, which is the most favorable aspect you're going to have here at J. That'll always drop you down to a 40 code. And then there's a forced drop to a 30 code once you clear this part of J. So just brake in advance of that, and then you're good. There you go. Monkey says he actually applied for the Long Island Railroad in real life. As what, conductor? Or something else. There's a lot of different jobs within the LIRR. It's not just working on the trains. So there's Access pitching at me because of the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit at the bridge. Get an approach slow. We should have a slow approach, which we do. So the dispatcher was nice to us, gave us a nice clear path all the way to where we need to go. So we're going to be pulling into that siding and then reversing out. Oh, you were studying to be an engineer. Oh shit, okay. Well, there's no point in studying the NORAC book then. Well, not as much, because Long Island Railroad isn't NORAC. Long Island Railroad kind of does their own thing when it comes to signaling. A lot of the aspects and stuff are derived from the Pennsylvania Railroad and NORAC and all that kind of stuff. But, Long Island Railroad kind of bends the rules in their own way. But you'd still need to know NORAC stuff when operating in Zone A between Woodside and Penn. You'd need to at least be familiar with the aspects, what they mean. Because you'll regularly encounter approach limited, limited clear, medium approach, all those aspects that you're not going to see out here. So let's see what we got going on here. We have a slow approach. At Hall. I've never played this before, so I'm interested to see what it's going to do. If I were to guess, I would say that the next signal before going into the siding is going to be a restricting. At least that's how I would have designed it to be. Restricting. So restricting confuses a lot of people. Restricting is commonly used when going into an area that's no longer signaled past that point. So like a stub track or you're going into a yard that's not signaled, like Long Beach, you hit a restricting signal beforehand. Actually, it's looking like you got a slow approach here. Oh, wait, no, that's restricting, sorry. I was looking at one of the other signals. Yeah, so we have restricting. No. 1 second, I'm just looking at the chat. And as I'm looking at the chat, I'm not paying attention. Yeah, I would, if you can get a hold of the Long Island Railroad operating instructions, that would help you a lot. Because they have a lot of special, like, unique rules and stuff. And like Nick said, the special instructions, the SIs. You're not shooting for it anymore? Okay, that's too bad. Alright, I'm just gonna turn the HUD back on to see if it wants me to do anything special. I don't think so. I think I've just got to get the whole train here into the siding. I just want to get the whole train past the signal. That works for me. I wonder if it's going to want us to switch ends. Probably. Oh. Oh, the second part of the scenario is, okay, so we did the first part. I got you. So now I'll return to the timetable and do part 2, and I'll take us into D Yard. I believe it's D Yard. I don't think it's going to take us into Johnson Yard. It was an M9, right? Yeah. Alright, there we go. Part 2. Platinum, baby. GQ says, are there any improvements you'd like to see on the route? Yeah, I alluded to it earlier, but adding the track circuits, the model for them, the impedance bonds that I pointed out before. Couple to formation. What's that instruction about? Oh, shit, okay. So let's set these manual junctions to get into D Yard. So it wants us to go into D Yard track 2. Track 1? No, track 2. I don't know. Couple up to that. That's probably going to be it, because there's no other room anywhere except for that other track. Okay. Let me think of other improvements that I would like to see. I'd like to see the dispatcher bug fixed. That's for sure. Because that's causing a lot of snarl-ups at Penn Station. The impedance bonds, the dispatcher. I would love, and this has to be like a core thing, so it would affect not just this route, but Boston, Harlem, Trenton, is having trains finally obey signal speed limits. So like right now, a train can, when they're supposed to be going like 15 or 30 or 40 based on the cab signals, they can go track speed. Like they just ignore that this whole thing even exists. I would like them to not ignore that fact. Alright, we got a stop signal coming up. So they threw a color light signal here so you don't accidentally see past this point and pass a stop signal. So they wanted to make it very, very obvious on this trek that you have a stop signal. Throw it into max brake, wait for the switches to realign. Let's look at the chat. Well, Tucker White, the triple track on the main line, doing all that would require the whole route to be modernized. Alright, slow approach. Oh, now we got slow clear. Okay. That would require the whole route to be modernized, so Harold interlocking would need to be brought to modern day. Then you would need to add the tunnel stuff going to Grand Central. So, and then you'd have to redo Jamaica to add Platform F. It's a lot, man, to get it up to not necessarily modern standards, but just to bring it up to modern day. Slow approach at the dwarf. And Monkey asks, any news on Boston to New Haven? As far as Train Sim Classic, I mean, people are still decorating it and stuff in their spare time. But, I mean, I laid the groundwork years ago. That was kind of my, like, foray into route development. But I have no intentions of working on that right now. Alright, so we're coming into D Yard. I'm gonna slow down. I think it's 10 miles an hour within D Yard. And I did set the switch already. I'm confirming that. Yep. So we're gonna couple up to that, those two cars down at the end. Okay. Monkey, I'm not sure what you're talking about. How come they chose not to do that in this update? What is that you're referring to? Because we talked about a couple different things. Are you referring to modernizing it to current day? Like adding all that? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they decided to modernize everything, we'd still be working on the route. Like, that's how big of a project that would have been. It would have needed hundreds of more man-hours in art resources. Alright, let's couple up to this thing. Did it work? I think so. Is there anything special I have to do? I've never coupled to something before. It looks good. I don't know what else to do. Couple to formation. I'm gonna say we're good. Maybe it's just a bug, it's not picking up on this. I think it's good. Alright, we'll just say we're good. Okay, that was kind of cool. That was different. Yeah, it would have been nice to have the route updated to today's, like, all the whole feature set. It's just way, way, way too much. And Dovetail was not willing to invest that many art resources into doing so. So bringing the old route up to the standards that it should be was the way to go. All right, any requests for services? I don't want to do any scenarios. You guys can do those in your spare time. Let's do something with the M7. Yeah, I agree, Monkey. M7 stuff. I prefer to stay away from the Atlantic branch. I'm not a huge fan. Hmm. Tomas asks, how does the access departure test work? It works, however, there's an error on the trouble screen that appears. I'm not too sure. I've never actually conducted the access test, and I don't have the steps right now to do so. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. Okay, Max, we'll do what service you want. 12:56, N to Hicksville, and you want a specific time of day. Okay. February 22nd, dynamic weather, that should be fine. All right, give it a shot. Ah, we're starting up in West Side Yard. Okay. That's cool. We just might have a little bit of a layover sitting in Penn. Actually, here, let's do this. We know that this train starts on Trek 15. Let's spawn in at Penn Station at 17:30 instead of having to wait all that time. We don't have all the dev commands, all the dev commands here. So, what time was it again? I completely had a brain fart. 17:30. New York Penn, 17:30. February 22nd, clear, dynamic weather, cool. Alright, what track are we on? $13, $14. Oh crap, we gotta go one more over. Shit. Alright, this is my train. Don't repeat that at home. Player 1 asks, are consists always made up of the same type, or can you have, for example, 4 M7 and 4? No, it's always the same type. I've never seen that error message, Keenan. Alright, so I'll take this over. Yeah, I've never seen an access error message. Yeah, sorry, man. Maybe you accidentally clicked something? Oh, shit. The whole game just crashed on me. Damn. And I have a fresh install of this game, too. Shit. Alright, let me give that a second try. We were getting a handful of crashes during the beta testing period, well, development process of this coming into Pen. Pen has always been bitch. 12:56. Wait a minute. I'm gonna do on foot. 17:30. February 22nd. Dynamic weather. Just make sure you guys can see the thing again. I don't want you guys staring at a black screen. Yeah, alright, you guys can see it again. Good. So, what did we say? Yeah, I have to cut across here. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. That was annoying. Oh, good. So just restarting the scenario fixed up that access error you were getting. Perfect. Come on, people. Move. Alright, so train departs in 3 minutes. Looks like we're ready to go. Let's take a look at the trouble screen. MBS offline. I'm not too sure what the MBS is. TRS subsystem. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Let me acknowledge it. What train number are we? 12:56. 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay. Sweet. Looking good. Alright, we got a couple minutes. Just sit down for a sec. Been standing this whole time. I gotta stretch later. My calves are tight. The joys of having flat feet, you know? Alright. So we're being routed out line 1. So we'll be following that train. Unless there's another train set to go out at the same time. I don't think so. It'll be far enough along. We're not going to get any adverse signals, I don't think. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12-car train. Let's get the doors closed. 30 seconds. And what stops are we making? I didn't even check. Woodside, Jamaica. Okay. So after New Hyde Park, it's all stops. Okay. Do a flip? I can't do a flip. I'd break my fucking leg. Alright, so we got a slow clear. Let's turn off. Something not closed? Oh. It's not showing that all the doors are closed. Oh, maybe because of that one door on the right-hand side that I opened to get in. Yeah. There we go. It's fine. Alright. So, first stop is Woodside. Got slow clear all the way up to the tunnel. Oh yeah, I forgot to enable my... Let's set these to dim. Sorry. Jeff Epi says, would it be hard to make a weekend and holiday service? I don't know what you mean by that. Like combining... like making a scenario for that, or making a whole new timetable for weekend and holiday services? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is just weekday. What you have in the timetable, which is busiest, I think. Yeah, glad to hear that you're liking it, Monkey. We all put a lot of work into this. It's not perfect. It's not, like, the best it could be, but it's pretty damn good. Alright, we're clear of Penn Station. We're in East River Tunnels Line 1, going east. And we're going to accelerate to line speed. We're under a clear signal. So yeah, Jeff, it would be hard. It was already hard to make this timetable work, and it still doesn't even work properly, really. It breaks at certain times of the day. So making a whole other timetable just for weekend and holiday service would be hard for this route, yeah. Hey Connor, thanks for joining. Just to get everybody up to speed, we are doing a run in the M7 from New York Penn to Hicksville. It's semi-express from Penn to Jamaica, and then it's most stops from there on out. Stopping at Woodside, Jamaica, New Hyde Park, Maryland Avenue, Mineola, Carl Place, Westbury, and Hicksville. If I have that right. Woodside, Jamaica, New Hyde Park, Maryland Avenue, Mineola, Carl Place, Westbury, Hicksville. There we go. How are you? You drive subway train. Some people think the LIRR is a subway. I don't know. It kind of is in a way because it uses third rail. I'm doing good though, thank you. clear signal at F. Oh, I love the time of day. Look at that. It's fucking beautiful. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah. That's beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna throw it into coast. We have an approach medium. Kinda didn't see it in time. So I'm just gonna let ASC break me down to 40. That's fine. I'll take the hit. It's unavoidable sometimes. We had a new trouble pop up on here. Third rail shoe broken. Oh, that's great. We broke a shoe. Alright, we have a medium clear at Herald. This is going to get us over to line 4. GQ's asking how comfortable am I driving HUDless? Very comfortable, actually. On routes that I'm familiar with, like Boston, I'll do HUDless all the time. This, I don't have a problem. Oh, shit. 1 second, guys. This is the problem with driving HUDless, though. You don't know when you're not in coast. So you kind of have to... I'm listening to the notches. It's so funny you asked that as soon as I get screwed by it. So I'm listening to the notches to know where I'm at. But yeah, typically I'm comfortable driving HUDless. Thank you. I got a medium clear at Herald. That's going to take us over to line 4. Kobe says, afternoon. Good afternoon, buddy. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. Come on, I didn't fucking overspeed. Give me a break. Whatever, dude. Alright, we'll get upgraded to a 70 code here. And I'll, make up that lost time from that penalty break. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Got a clear signal here. Yeah, so I usually look at the tractive effort thing, so I can see like a little sliver of green there, so I know that I'm in min power. If I take it out, I can hear a coast and it went away, the little green sliver. And then if I do it again, I know that I'm in min brake, and I can see the red. Anyway, I gotta pay attention for my station stop at Woodside. Gonna be pulling all the way down to the signal, I know that much, because we have a 12-car consist. Let's see how well I'm able to do this. It's pretty damn good. Let's throw it into max brake. I think that was good. Kind of quiet out here right now, though. It is, I mean, 5:30. It's kind of evening rush, right? I don't know what technically is considered like peak, off-peak, rush, not rush hours. I would think a lot of people are commuting home around 5:30. Take a look at the station BIS. Yeah, we got a couple seconds. Hicksville, boarding, seat availability, lots of seats. Alright, let's get going. Alright. Next stop is Jamaica. Yeah, if DM30s were made for this route, then you could really expand. You know, because then that opens up Oyster Bay, particularly. I don't think we'd necessarily take this out to Montauk, but I'm using keyboard right now. As I said earlier, Raildriver, the controls are a little bit too like loose. They're not very precise, so I still have to get used to that, and or like mod my Raildriver. Okay, so this is definitely a peak train then. Let's get up to 70, and then once we hit the next block signal, we'll get bumped up to an 80 code. This is probably going to be the last service that I do today. I don't like to stream for a crazy long amount of time. Tomorrow, I plan on streaming as well. I took the day off from work to enjoy the route, so I'll probably stream... Actually, I'll definitely stream again tomorrow. Same time. Sounds good to me. This time worked out nice. We could do some different stuff if you guys have any questions or anything else pops up, you're welcome to ask. Clear. Another clear at the block. Lorenzo's asking, is SDO a thing on the LIRR? I don't know what SDO stands for. If somebody can help us out with that. Coming up on Forest Hills. It's gonna chuck it into coast. Got another clear signal. I love the night lighting. Look at that, that's beautiful. That's nice. Selective door opening? Yeah, you can locally open and close doors in real life. I don't know if... I think that might have been one of the things that the MTA... well, Long Island Railroad wanted changed for the licensing. Alright, so gonna break down to 70, because we're always gonna have a 70 code. Approach medium. Alright, throw a little bit of variety into the progression for you guys. So approach medium means we're not gonna have like a full path into Jamaica prepared for us by the dispatcher. I talked at length about audio frequency overlays before. There is an AFO right about here. Actually, we just passed it. And that AFO just dropped us to a 40 code in advance of J. Because of the track conditions ahead. And then we have an approach slow. So approach slow is saying proceed approaching the next signal at slow speed. So there's some kind of thing up ahead that requires us to do slow speed. But as I say that, we just got upgraded back to a 70 code, and that's approach medium. So now we have a full path from the dispatcher into Jamaica. So something ahead of us cleared. Yeah, it looks like one of those trains got out of the way just enough. And then we got a full path into Jamaica. There's our drop to 30 code. Alright. Approach slow. That's normal at that signal bridge. Always forget to break down to 20 here. Then we have a slow approach at the Van Wyck Bridge. All these like little signal bridges have names. And employees, when they're communicating about it, will be like, oh, like clear at the Van, slow approach at the Van Wyck, and approach slow at the mail dock, or whatever, or the meat bridge. There's a bunch of different names for all these things. There's access cutting out. You can see the track speed indicator went to 2 dashes, meaning access doesn't have data on the track speed here, because Jamaica is a terminal exempt area, and then access went into a degraded state. The yellow light. Hey, Ant-Man. Thanks for the kind words, buddy. Thanks for joining. Coming into Jamaica, track 8. Ah, there's me not paying attention to my fucking speed. It's fine. How are we doing on time? Oh. We're like gonna be more than a minute early. And we've got a stop signal at Hall, which is expected. It's very rare for the dispatcher to give you that many signals in a row. Approach slow. So Lorenzo's asking, are approach slow and slow approach the same? No, they're very, very different. So approach slow just tells you that there's something up ahead that is going to require slow speed. So in Long Island territory, slow speed is typically 15, but it can also be 30 in areas that have automatic speed control. Did I not pull it far enough? For the purposes of this route, every area is an area with automatic speed control. There's a couple areas that are technically outside of automatic speed control territory, but getting too complex. Generally, it's approaching something where you gotta be 15 up ahead. Slow approach is proceed prepared to stop at the next signal, and slow speed applies past that signal. So approach slow just prepares you to be going slow speed by the next signal. Slow approach is be prepared to stop at the next signal and go slow speed past the signal. Yeah, let's look at the PIS. We've got 2.5 minutes. Yeah, sorry if I made that explanation very convoluted. It's just that with Long Island Railroad, it's never a simple answer, because they just do things in such like a complex, convoluted way. You have to there's all these like little distinctions. Oh, is slow speed 30 or is it 15? Well, it's usually 15, but it can be 30 in certain situations. So let's see if this is right. New Hyde Park, Maryland Avenue, Mineola, Carl Place, Westbury, Hicksville. That's right. Nice. The PIS looks good. Oh, it went away. So this train's going where? The one on 7. I saw something up here for it. Oh, he's just going straight through. He's going down the Atlantic branch? No, no he's not. It's probably going down the Montauk. Alright, almost time for us to depart, and it's starting to get kind of dark, which is really nice. Look at that sky with the stars. I love that purple transition, it's beautiful. Nice. Alright, lock these doors. Our next stop is New Hyde Park. So we got a slow clear at the dwarf. This whole complex, as a reminder, is called Hall interlocking. There's one of those what is it? Hot dog stands or pretzel stand? What are they called? Bagel stands. I don't know what motivated them to make bagel stands a collectible, but they did. Another slow clear at the dwarf. Yeah, it is sad that the signal names had to get randomized, but maybe somebody can mod it back in. That's always a possibility. I know modders are gonna be doing some heavy work. No, I'm not rocking an MTA shirt. So I got this shirt when I was deployed overseas in 2019. The Chaplain Corps was hosting a 5K. So I ran in the 5K, and they handed out shirts. This one says 224 years serving God and country, and the back of the shirt has like, I don't even know what it is. It's a really cool design that the Air Force Chaplain Corps put together for people that ran in the 5K. So we got a clear signal here. Looks like we're getting sent down main line 2. Just saw something weird pop up. Whoa, what the fuck? Did you see that? Did you guys just see all those people on the tracks? Oh yeah, on the sleeve. Let me speed up. On the sleeve, it's got a Latin saying with the year 1775. I guess that's when it was founded or whatever. And then United States Air Force Chaplain Corps. Yeah, I like this shirt. It's nice. Alright, so we have another clear at Hall. That's pretty cool, seeing that signal flip from approach to clear. There's that train getting a little bit more ground down the Montauk. So if we're going to be continuing down all the way to Hicksville, and we're on Mainline 2, that means we're going to be switching tracks at Queens. Now, remember before I said that those switches, you can go over them at 80, but they were designed for 60-mile-an-hour moves. So I'm going to do that in the search of passenger comfort. You know, I don't want them getting rocked around because those switches, they're mean. Yeah, it should be switching tracks. Let me just confirm that. I think my route knowledge is correct. Yeah. So I will slow down to like 65. Just so you can see how that feels. Going by Hollis right now. This little interlocking here is if you're going to and from Hillside Yard. I don't know if that ever gets used in any of the services, but it's an interesting move if you ever do it. Really getting dark now. Oh my god, that is just gorgeous. Really, really nice. Alright, so once I hit the platform, I'll start braking. That should get us down to like 65 by the time we hit the switch. Because I don't think we hit the switch until after Bridge 2. Yeah. You'll see how much better this feels. Oh yeah, feels way better compared to 80. You get fucking like rocked. Oh, we're actually switching over to track 3. That's interesting. Maybe this is why Max recommended it to me. So now, I mean, this does happen, it's just kind of unusual. Alright, so we'll wrong rail it for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna speed back up to 80. But we are coming into New Hyde Park shortly, so at the top of the hill, probably start braking. Or at least coast down the hill. Coming up on Floral Park. Alright, I'm just gonna coast down the hill. Let's see how good of a stop I can make at New Hyde Park. Haven't actually practiced very much making a stop here. No, Matthew, they didn't add Elmont and UBS Arena because that would be bringing the route up to modern day, which this is still set in like 2017, 2018. kind of started braking a little bit too early, but better safe than sorry. Yeah, finally have the whistle signs. It's ridiculous that we had to go that long without whistle signs. Is there a proper 12-car marker at this station? I guess not. Ah, shit, I didn't mean to dump the train. That's one downside of doing, HUDless. You gotta, like, tap the keyboard, too. You gotta kind of tap it into place. Oh, damn, we got 3 minutes to kill. But yeah, I see 10 MU. I'm gonna have to check that to see if that's accurate. But I would assume that you don't stop the train on the crossing. It's not really a thing they do. I mean, maybe. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at a cab ride or something. Maybe it is past, like, right here or something. But I mean, if we look... Oh yeah, 2 are hanging off. I barely got the front end of this one on. Oh yeah, I'm stuck on this crossing, so I guess they do that. Max is saying, you see something on your right. What's on my right? Did I miss something? I mean, I'm looking at Nassau 1, and I see we got a clear signal. The other track has a stop signal. We're not switching tracks at Nassau 1. I see we still have a clear signal here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I missed something. Let me know what it is. Maybe it's the next stop? Okay. "45 seconds and then we can go." Matthew, to get all of the updates to the trains, you need to purchase the new route. If you still have the old route, you're not going to get any of the updates to the trains, like the lights and this and... yeah. The old route is going to be staying exactly the same. Alright, so next stop is going to be Maryland Avenue. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can wait for a sale for the route. But it was already 20% off of $40. Getting it down to something like 31 or 30. 32, something like that. So you might wait for a sale to bring it down further, or you could just pull the plug and buy it. Pull the trigger, rather. That's the saying. Alright, we gotta clear at Nassau 1. Not switching tracks. You can switch tracks here at Nassau 1 and further up at Nassau 3 at 60 miles an hour. These are normal, proper 60-mile-an-hour crossovers. another clear at the end of Nassau 1. Got Maryland Avenue coming up. Gonna start braking for that. Pretty solid stop. Sweet. GQ asks, what signal would it show for a 60-mile-an-hour move? Clear. So what would happen is there would be a track circuit before the interlocking that would drop you to a 70 code. And then it depends on which track you're on. But generally, at the home signal, you would then get dropped to a 60 code. And then you'd switch over. But it would all be clear. The signals themselves would show clear. Alright. Next stop should be Mineola. Really dark now. So I'm wondering if we will switch back at Nassau 3, or if we're just gonna ride this track all the way to Divide. We shall see. Got a clear signal at the distant to Nassau 2. Start slowing down for Mineola. There's one of those boxes for an audio frequency overlay. There's actually 2 audio frequency overlays between that last signal we passed and the platform here. If you're switching over to the Oyster Bay branch, or if you have a stop signal up ahead here, you'll get multiple cab drops at those track circuits. Alright, so this is pretty cool. We've got a clear signal and the other track has a clear signal. So we're definitely not switching at Nassau 3. Got another minute and a half to kill. So there's gonna be another train coming. Yep, we both have clear signals there. Probably both have clear signals at Nassau 3. It looks like it. It's very pixely. And I've got approach medium. He's got clear. Sweet. Two more stops, or three. Apologies if we count Hicksville. And we're stopping at platform 1, which I think is the top one. Yeah, alright. Now this makes sense. We're not going to be switching tracks ever. Except at the very end. Alright, let's close these doors and make our way to Carl Place. Coming up on Nassau 3. Still have that approach medium. I don't know if that's an approach medium 70 or an approach medium 40. I guess I'm about to find out. Probably a 70. Yeah. You don't generally go from an 80 code down to a 40, so it makes sense that it would be an approach medium 70. I'm just wondering if I'll get bumped down to a 40 code at the end of the interlocking. Doesn't hurt to brake in advance. So close to 40 miles an hour anyway. No, looks like it's going to keep me at 70 code. I love the squeaky sounds. Alright, Carl Place. Nice. Okay, so let's take a look around. Oh, we've only got 45 seconds to linger here. Oh, crap. Let's get in the cab for the full effect. In real life, that would be a bit more jolting. It's pretty cool, though. Next stop is Westbury. I'm wondering what our cab signals are going to look like coming up to Westbury. If we got a 70 code still, we're definitely going to get dropped to a 40 code somewhere. I think there's a track circuit over by that bridge. So if it's going to happen anywhere, I think it would happen there. We'll see, though. Never mind, yeah. Well, it was kind of right before the bridge. So if we got a 40 code there, we probably have a stop at Divide 1. If I were to guess. So we're kind of close to Divide 1. Divide 1 is this signal here. Just past Westbury. But anyway, we're pretty much at Westbury, so it's all good. Ooh, we're getting dropped to a 15 code early. I'm wondering if there's no dispatch beyond instruction set up in the timetable for this station. Because I think that's a bit too soon to get dropped to a 15 code for a stop at Divide 1. Depends on how close we are to Divide 1. No, I would expect to get dropped to 15, like around here. We'll see what happens after we finish our station stop here. Got another minute to kill. The night lighting is just so much better than it was before. But what sucks is that you can kind of just look in the distance and see that there's nothing, which is kind of immersion breaking. Oh, here's another train. Yeah, I am kind of wondering what's going to happen up here. So he switched into 2. That guy will stay on 3. We'll switch into 1. I just don't know what's going to happen with our signal. I've got a weird feeling that it's going to pick up after we leave the station. Like, as soon as we finish and close our doors, I feel like the cabs are going to pick back up. Yep, there we go. It was a dispatch beyond instruction. So, yeah, we've got a normal progression. My god, my voice. I'm gonna drink more water. That was bad. We have a normal progression coming into Hicksville now. Well, we might have the broken progression because of the signal bug right now. That will be getting fixed shortly. Almost out of water. coming up on divide 1. So divide is named such because track divides there. It's split up into 6 sections. So the first part is divide 1, then you have divide 2, divide 3, it's right before the station, divide 4 after the station, divide 5, and divide 6. Alright, yeah, we're getting drops pretty early. Got an approach medium at divide 1. Yeah, I think this is a symptom of the little signal bug that I'll be fixing. Yep. It's almost giving you the progression of coming up to a stop just before Hicksville. Or a restricting signal just before Hicksville. Shit, 1 second. Happened to me again. That's okay. The signal bug, it's just not showing the right signal aspect before Hicksville. So it's showing a restricting signal. So it's just slowing you down quicker than you should be. That's all. Same thing with Penn Station. It's just slowing you down faster than you should be getting slowed down. That's all. So the next patch, I've already got it fixed, I just need to submit it to Dovetail for review. I don't think this one's dispatch beyond. This is something different. Again, just another one of those random things that decided to break around February. I think we have a restricting signal next, and we're going to get dropped to a 15 code here. Yep. That's okay. Just know that it's a bug. Oops, shit. No. Alright, I'm gonna drive with the HUD for the rest of the time. I feel like I'm gonna get screwed if I don't. So normally, I think what you would have here is an approach, and then you'd switch tracks on the approach, and then when you hit the platform, then you would get dropped to your 15 code, and then you'd run up on the stop signal. All in all, not too bad. So once I pull into Hicksville here, I believe I'm gonna end the stream for today. Like I said, I don't like to stream for like a crazy long amount of time. This was getting close to 3 hours. Do you guys have any follow-up questions? Otherwise, I'll probably, like I said, stream tomorrow. And we'll do some different services and talk about some stuff. Give you guys a little demonstration of coming up on a stop signal and how Access enforces it. So I'm not going to touch anything. You'll see the stoplight come up on the ADU, And then if I keep going and I don't slow down, it'll enforce a signal speed of 0 miles per hour. So let's watch that. Alright, so it's already warning me of the stop signal up ahead. And if I keep creeping up without slowing down, and it'll let me get pretty close because I'm coming up to a platform signal. But watch. Now it's enforcing a signal speed of 0 miles an hour. Pretty cool. So that's a feature called Access Positive Train Stop. I think we've completed the service. I did lock the doors. This door's closed. I don't know, maybe this is bugged. Lorenzo asks, is it possible to stay on the same train for, say, 2 hours and do a bunch of services? I don't know. Maybe we could try that tomorrow. You mean, like, go from Hicksville to Penn, and then when that train goes back out again, ride it to where it goes, and just keep... Yeah, maybe. Can I just show the list of M3 services? Sure. Sure I can. So it starts just after midnight. It's got a nice variety of services. Port Wash from Babylon, coming out of Penn in the morning. Get into the morning rush. Just slowly scroll through. It's a nice mixture. I'm not really seeing any Atlantic stuff on here. Actually, no Atlantic stuff whatsoever. You won't be able to take an M3 into Atlantic Terminal. Or Hempstead, for that matter. Oh wait, no, I see a Hempstead right here. So this is probably one that you could do back to back. New York, 766, New York Penn to Hempstead, and then you could take it back to New York Penn on 3753. It's probably like a return trip that you were talking about, Lorenzo. Oh yeah, there's some more here. Probably the same thing. 798 turns to be 723. Yeah, maybe we could play around with some of that tomorrow. I don't really care too much for the M3, especially because they didn't get the sounds right. Like the alerter and all that is that cool bell sounding thing, which I like, but they didn't make that for the M3. Just kind of unfortunate. Any other questions before I call it a day? I think we covered a lot for the first day. Now you guys get to enjoy it how you want to enjoy it. Report any bugs that you find. We are aware of those core dispatcher issues when it comes to trains going into Penn Station. Typically, the trains will get stuck coming into the terminal. They'll like take the wrong switch and then they'll get stuck off path and literally just block the tunnel for hours. So there is a trick to delete the train. You can go into the map and delete the train, and then you can get into Penn Station that way. I wouldn't expect that issue to get sorted anytime soon. It's I don't know, I think it's a deeply rooted issue in the dispatcher code, and this route really, really exacerbated and exposed that issue. GQ asks, how does Access know where there's a stop signal? It's a good question. So along the track, and that's another thing that wasn't added into this route in the middle of the track between the rails, are access transponders. You'll see these in Boston Sprinter or Boston to Providence. Excuse me. Drink some more water. I'm out of water. In Boston to Providence, they're rectangular yellow things mounted in the track, access transponders, and when the train goes over them, there's a little antenna on the bottom of the train that sends a signal that briefly powers up the transponder, and then that transponder sends to the antenna a data package, and that data package contains a whole bunch of information like the speed limits in the area, the distance to the next transponder set, the distance to the next restriction, how long in distance the next restriction is, and for transponder sets that come before stop signals or before home signals, additional data gets sent on if there's a stop signal up ahead. And that gets sent to the onboard computer on the train. The train starts calculating a braking curve for stopping at that stop signal. The train just tracks its distance. And access is a distance-based system. So you got to have transponders at intervals to refresh all that distance data, because there is a little bit of error with that. And yeah, that's how it knows. Will I make a signaling guide with demos like the Boston one? Well, there already is one similar to the Boston one, but it's for TrainSim Classic Long Island Railroad. So if you go onto my channel, and you'll find the signaling guide for Long Island Railroad for TrainSim Classic. Most of the information still applies. But if you have any like follow-on specific questions, just feel free to ask. All right, well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to end the stream. It looks like we're coming right up on the 3-hour mark, which is typically like the most I really like to stream. Actually, got to go out and run some errands now. Got to go pick up some food and some gas. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. I really, really appreciate all of this support. Enjoy the route. Report any bugs. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll stream tomorrow, same time, so 1 p.m. Eastern. And maybe we can try what Lorenzo was mentioning with doing a service back to back. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. All right, guys. Take care.